day. Today I'm going to take a walk by my stream that I have in my backyard, and I'm gonna find some nature. In honor of Earth Day, what we can do is clean up the earth. You can pick up some trash if you find anything in your neighborhood. We're gonna honor our earth for all the good that it does. So for an art project today, if you choose, gather some nature, go on a little hike, even if it's just in your backyard or around your neighborhood. It is a little windy today, but it is a beautiful day outside. And I'm gonna walk around and see if I can find anything. I've got a bucket and I've got some clippers. And as I look around, I can see we got some like crazy looking skunk cabbage growing in our backyard. Got some grass. I found some really pretty wildflowers down here a little farther, but we got some sticks. If you want to collect some sticks, and basically what you're going to be doing, you are going to be using your observational drawing skills. Sorry about the wind, by the way, if you can hear it on the video. You're going to be using your observational drawing skills to draw some of the stuff that you found in nature. We got a cool dam right here that either an animal made, actually I'm pretty sure it's just from years and years and years of the flooding that has happened down here. Let's see if I can find some wildflowers. I found some the other day as I was going for my hike. I'm actually gonna cut a leaf off right here, and I'm gonna put it in my bucket. So when you're going for your walk, make sure that you have something to collect all your stuff in. And if you guys can see what I'm doing. So there's a really cool leaf. Look at that. It has pretty stinky smell. That's why it's called skunk cabbage. It's kind of got an odor to it. I'm also going to collect some dried leaves. You don't have to use everything that you find. Just get a good variety of stuff. Oh, look. Look at those. Those are pretty. I'm going to pick some of those. Let's see. Also got like a little tree right here. Sorry, little guy, I'm gonna cut you down because I want to draw you. All right, he's going in my bucket. So I found a shell or a nut. Oh, look. Look at that. All right, I'm gonna take all that home with me. Getting pretty thick. I'm gonna try to venture out a little bit farther to see what else I can find. Alright, look at all these nuts. Do you see this one right here? This is a hickory nut. Kinda looks like a pig nose. That's its distinct shape. Kinda has like a pear shape, and it has a that pig nose look to it. That's a hickory nut. Looks like something's been through here. Look at all the nuts. And look at this tree. This is really cool. This tree is dead. Look at it. Okay? And if you look down by the base of the trunk, looks like it's got a little hideout where an animal has been. Pretty cool. Alright, I'm gonna walk a little bit farther to see if I can find anything else to collect in my bucket. Look at that tree that's down. Look at that really old tree. You can see it got uprooted. All right, I'm gonna gather a few more things, different kinds of leaves, maybe a stick or two, and then I'm gonna bring them all inside, and then I'm gonna start my art lesson. All right, everybody, so I'm back from my hike, and I have all my supplies with me. I'm gonna show you a couple different ways that you can do this Earth Day project. By using your observational drawing skills, you can draw what you see in your bucket, lay them out in front of you, kind of arrange them, or you can do a texture rubbing, which I'll show you next. So I got inspired originally with this art project from this picture right here. I made this in 1992. You can see my name. Can you see my name? Look. It says Amy Oler. And then, so I made this in art class at Sandy Mount Elementary in 1992. And my art teacher, Barbara Hammond, she inspired me to do this piece of art. And I'm pretty sure I remember her having brought in some nature stuff and had them in a still life, and we were supposed to draw what we saw. So I'm kind of being inspired by that. So it looks like what I used was black paper and then either chalk or a white charcoal stick. And that was it. So maybe you want to do something like that. Now, I know not everybody has chalk or charcoal, so you use whatever drawing material or paper that you want. And with the black and the white, it shows very good contrast. I like the white up against the black, it looks good. And then my parents had it framed a long time ago. I found this in my basement, in one of my boxes that my parents kept for me. And look, here's the date. Where is it? Right there. 11/92. I was in 4th grade. All right, now putting that aside, putting my inspiration aside, and because it's Earth Day, so 2 things that are inspiring me for this. Let me get out my stuff first. So here's my bucket, and here's some things that I found. Not really sure what this is. Some kind of weed, but it's got really cool, like seed pods or something. I got a couple of those. There's another one. And another weed. Sometimes weeds are pretty. Look at that one. It's got really cool leaves. Look at the design of the leaves. Look at the shape. These are everywhere. Not really sure what these are either, but they got a really cool purple and some pink flowers coming off of them. Here's my skunk cabbage. It does have a funky odor to it. The cool thing about these is if you decide to do the texture rubbings, these will look really good with the texture rubbings because they've got really great texture in the veins of the leaf. They're here. Some more leaves. These are really pretty flowers. I'm not so sure I'm going to use that because everything else that I have here is green and alive, and that is not. All right, another like tree clipping. Pine tree. This will look cool if you do a texture rubbing it with it as well. And we've got my hickory nut that looks like a pig's nose. It's really cool. And a couple other nuts. Oops, this kind of broke apart, but I wanted to kind of see all the shapes and all the texture that it has to offer. So that's the outside of the shell. I wonder if I can pull this apart. Oh, making a mess. Yeah, it's completely crumbling. We're not going to use that. All right. Made a little bit of a mess. of my art table. Hold on 1 minute. Put that back in my bucket. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of lay out my pieces in front of me. Okay, I'm gonna have to push them aside, but just kind of like arrange your pieces kind of however you want, and then you're just gonna draw what you see. So I'm just gonna kind of push it aside for now. And you can do this on white paper, you can do this on a different color construction paper, because if you have those choices at home, maybe, oh, you know what? Maybe you want to do green for your background. You know what, let's try that. I'm going to do a green background. I'm going to use a Sharpie. I love Sharpies. You can use anything else, crayons, colored pencils, markers, and then you're going to draw what you see. All right, I'm going to start with this little guy right here. I'm going to start with this. And I noticed that it's got a long stem and it's got little pieces coming off of it with like these little seed pods or something coming off of it. So this is going to be a very linear drawing, which means just a bunch of lines. I'm not really too worried about shading and color unless you really want to. You could spend a lot of time on this and really get the good color and the value down, but I'm not. I'm just going to do something like I have here from my inspiration from when I was in elementary school, just something like that. Okay. All right, so my first piece, I'm gonna give it its long stem. I got a couple pieces coming off from it. Okay, you see that? And then from that main stem, I've got other little stems coming off of it. And then I'm going to draw these little seed pods. And they kind of have that shape to it. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and finish that. Okay. I'm done. My first drawing. You can see how I made the stem a little thicker right there, and I added some larger leaves because that's what I saw. And then I added some little itty bitty stems that didn't really have anything on them. I like it. All right, now what's next? I'm going to draw these pine needles from the pine tree. I got a lot of little growths coming off them. So this is going to be a lot of little lines. All right, so I'm going to put that in front of me. And now look at your composition, because you might want your next piece of nature to kind of go maybe that way. Overlap your pieces. So if I look at my example again, there is a lot of overlapping. It gives it depth. Got a lot going on there, and it allows the eye to move throughout your art. All right, so my pine needle branch, I'm going to have it go that way. And I got a couple branches coming off of that main branch. All right, and then from there, I'm just drawing a lot of little pieces kind of just branching off everywhere, like that. All right? Oops. Okay, so that's what I have there. You can see how the pieces kind of branch off from that. See? All right. I'm going to go ahead and finish that one. Okay. I'm all done that one. All right. You can kind of see the similarities. Okay. All right, next one. I'm going to attempt this skunk cabbage leaf. Oh, if you look really closely, it looks like an animal chewed in it. You see that right there? Right there. All right. I'm going to do this one. This one might not take me as long. All right. So what I see here, I got the stem, and it's got this really cool shape to it. It almost kind of looks like a heart, but not quite. All right, and then it's got the main vein going through it. And I'm just gonna kind of darken that in. Just for effect. You don't have to. And then when I look closely at it, it's got a lot of veins coming off from the main vein. So I'm going to draw that next. And there is no real symmetry to these veins. I know I see a lot of kids, when they draw veins, they try to make it symmetrical. They're not. They're kind of going every which way. They're all branching off from the main vein. But then from there, like over here, I see another vein that gets kind of crooked, and then you have the veins connecting every which direction, like a spider web. It's going everywhere. Like that. All right. Okay, that leaf is done. Let's see. I'm going to do this branch that I found from a tiny tree. So we got like a main branch coming off there and a couple little baby ones coming off everywhere with these ovalish looking leaves. Let's go ahead and do that one. I'm going to overlap this one on top of this one and see how it looks. Now, if you prefer to do this in pencil, you can, because then you can erase. But I like the challenge of using a Sharpie, because then if I make a mistake, I can always challenge myself to turn it into something. So to make it look like, oh yeah, I meant to do that. All right, so I'm gonna start this one right here, and I'm gonna overlap it and bring it way up here. Oh, and I meant to say, when I finished my leaf right here, I noticed that I had so many veins going on that I lost the main vein. So I just went with my Sharpie and highlighted them and made them bolder, more bold, that way you can see them. Okay, so that one's done. And I didn't shade in the leaves like I did here for those paws. I just did something that looks like that. I like the way that looks. All right, I got some more space on my paper. Let's see what I haven't done. So we've got this wildflower right here that's got some really great shapes for leaves. They got some great zigzags and ins and outs of their leaves, so let's do that one next. And I'm gonna have this one kind of go around right in here to fill that area. All right, and then these leaves, these are gonna be so fun to draw. Almost looks like a little starburst. It's like a burst. Look at that. That's really cool. And then I see a vein. Tons of veins. I'm just going to draw a couple little veins coming off. I don't want to go overboard with my veins, okay? I'm going to do a couple more of those. So I got all those leaves done, and I noticed that at the top where those flowers are, they only have 4 petals each, those little white flowers. So I started doing one right there. I'm going to do a couple more, kind of randomly placed. A little black circle in the middle of them all. All right. I got a small pot of flowers up there at the top. Okay. And let's see, is there anything else? Oh yeah, hickory nut. I'm gonna put him, I'm gonna draw that right there. And this is the shape that I see. And it's got this pig nose shape right here, which almost kind of looks like a heart. And then it's got the holes right here. I'm just going to shade in black. And then it's got a lighter area and it's got a darker area. So right here I'm just going to add some lines to show the texture of the outer shell, which is darker. And it kind of comes up the side right here. I wanted to show the texture of the shell, so I'm just doing little indications with the lines to show the texture of the shell right there. Alright, here's my hickory nut. Cool. Alright, I think I'm done. That's my composition. So when you're done, sign your artwork. This is my artist signature right there. That's whenever I do art, that's how I sign my name. Okay, so that's one way to do this. The other way is to do the texture rubbing. And I'm going to try this first. So when you're doing a texture rubbing, you're gonna put it underneath your paper with the most bumpy side up. So this is the bumpier side. You can see how this looks a lot smoother. Look at that side. So I'm gonna keep that face up and put it under my paper. And now I need a crayon. And you need to use the side of the crayon. So I got one right here that the paper is already off. I need to test the color and I don't know what color it is. It looks, yep, it's purple. All right, so my paper is on top. I can feel it right there. I'm gonna use the side of my crayon and I'm gonna rub back and forth like this and see what happens. Cool. There he is, look at that. That's awesome. It picked up the texture from the leaf. Let's do the bigger one. Look at this guy. It's huge. And I'm going to change the direction of the leaf a little bit. Angle it on my paper. I'm going to get a different color. Usually the darker colors work better. So, let's see. Is this blue? My kids have torn all the paper off the colors, and sometimes those darker colors are hard to tell. This is blue. All right, here we go. Using the side. Oh, cool. And you want to make sure that the item that's under your paper doesn't slip around. You don't want it to slide, because then you'll have a blurry image. Ew, it stinks. I can smell it. I squished it and it stinks. Look at that. That's cool. All right, let's try one more thing. Ooh, that is stinky. All right, I'm gonna do the pine needles. And I'm gonna use the blue again because blue is my favorite color. I'm gonna put it over here. Oh, this is really, look how high up it goes. We'll see. We'll see if this works or not. Really gotta flatten it. This might not work as much as I thought it would. Nope, not really. It's okay. I was hoping that would be more successful. I'm going to take off this tiny little leaf right here, and I'm going to rub that one and see how that looks. I'm going to put it right there. Oh, yeah. Yep. Right there. There he is. Okay. So this lesson is good for any age. Younger kids all the way through adults. So, yeah, just have fun with it. You can do the drawing part, you can do the texture rubbing, you can do both of them if you would like. So, happy Earth Day, everybody. Bye.